All right, so today we're going to take a deep dive into something that might sound a little academic at first.
Yeah.
Emotional resonance.
Ooh, that's a good one.
But trust me,
I like it.
it gets really interesting really fast.
Yeah.
Have you ever walked into a room and just instantly felt the energy?
Oh, yeah.
Like everyone's either super pumped or there's this weird tension
Absolutely.
hanging in the air.
Yeah, you can cut it with a knife.
That's kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's emotional resonance in action.
Right.
It's basically how our emotions connect with and influence other people's emotions.
It's incredible we experience this every day, whether we realize it or not.
Totally.
And it really impacts everything from our relationships to how we react to information.
Okay, so give us the deep dive.
Okay.
What's the science behind all of this?
All right, so imagine you're watching a movie and the main character is going through something super intense and all of a sudden you find yourself tearing up.
Yeah.
Even though it's not happening to you.
Happens to me all the time.
That's your brain.
Total sucker for a good tearjerker.
That's your brain's emotional resonance kicking in.
So what's happening in my brain when I'm full on bawling over a fictional character?
So many parts of your brain are lighting up like a Christmas tree.
Okay.
For starters, your amygdala, which processes emotions like fear and anxiety, goes into overdrive.
Oh.
When you see someone else experience fear, your amygdala reacts as if you're the one in danger.
Whoa. So my brain's basically mirroring the character's emotions.
Exactly.
Wow.
And then there's the insula, which is all about tuning into your own internal state. But it turns out this part of the brain also plays a key role in empathy.
Okay.
It helps you feel what others are feeling, creating that sense of shared experience.
So it's not just my imagination. Yeah. There's an actual physical process happening in my brain that makes me feel connected to other people's emotions.
Absolutely.
That's pretty wild.
And one of the coolest parts of this whole system is something called mirror neurons.
Okay.
These are brain cells that fire both when you do something and when you watch someone else do the same thing.
Okay.
It's like your brain is practicing the action just by observing it.
So if I see someone trip and fall, my mirror neurons fire as if I was the one who wiped out.
Precisely.
Okay, that's mind-blowing.
And this isn't just about physical actions.
Okay.
Mirror neurons also fire when we observe someone else's emotions, helping us understand and even share those feelings.
So in a way, our brains are constantly creating these mini simulations of what other people are experiencing.
And that's a great way to put it.
No wonder we can feel so connected or totally disconnected from others.
And that's a great point because emotional resonance isn't always about,
feeling warm and fuzzy.
Right.
It can also explain why we sometimes feel drained or put off by someone's negativity.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's their bad vibes are contagious.
I swear some people just suck the energy out of a room.
Exactly.
Is that dissonance at play?
Yeah. Dissonance is the opposite of resonance.
Okay.
Instead of feeling in sync, you feel this disconnect.
Yeah.
Like you're on completely different wavelengths.
Right.
Imagine trying to have a serious conversation with someone who's just glued to their phone.
Right.
Their lack of attention creates emotional dissonance, making it impossible to truly connect.
Ugh. Yeah, I've definitely been there.
Yeah.
It's like talking to a brick wall.
For sure.
So we've got resonance on one end of the spectrum, feeling connected, understood on the same page, and then dissonance on the other end, feeling out of sync, unheard.
Yep.
Like your emotions are just bouncing off of them.
Exactly.
But how does this all play out
in
our real-life relationships? Well, think about the foundations of a solid, healthy relationship.
Okay.
Trust, understanding, empathy. All of those things stem from emotional resonance.
Okay.
When you're in sync with your partner, friend, or family member, you can sense their joys and sorrows.
Yeah.
Almost as if they were your own.
It's like you're both reading from the same emotional script.
Yes.
Even if you're experiencing different things.
Exactly.
But what about the flip side?
Yeah.
Does emotional resonance also contribute to those relationships that just feel off?
Absolutely. In a toxic relationship,
Yeah.
you often experience constant dissonance.
Okay.
Your partner might dismiss your feelings, fail to support you,
Right.
or even manipulate you for their own gain.
Right.
This ongoing lack of connection
Yeah.
can lead to stress, anxiety,
Oh, yeah.
and even depression.
So emotional resonance can amplify the good and the bad. in our relationship.
He does.
It's all about whether we're resonating at the same frequency
Yeah.
or clashing like a bad song.
That's a great analogy.
And it brings us to another interesting point.
Yeah.
Emotional resonance plays a big role
I think so.
in why some people are more influential than others.
Definitely.
It's not just about charisma.
Mm-hmm.
There's a real science to it.
It's fascinating.
We all know those people who just seem to command attention.
Yes.
While others struggle to get their point across.
Mm-hmm.
What's the secret sauce?
Well, think of it this way.
Okay.
When someone speaks with genuine passion and conviction,
Yeah.
their emotions are contagious.
Okay.
Their excitement, their belief in their message, it triggers that mirror neuron system in our brains,
Right.
making us feel a sense of shared excitement and belief.
So it's like their passion creates this ripple effect,
It does.
drawing us in and making us more receptive to what they're saying.
Exactly.
But if someone comes across as like flat or insincere,
Right.
it creates that dissonance.
Yeah.
And we just tune out.
You got it.
It's all about authenticity. Genuine emotional resonance can't be faked.
Nope.
Which explains why those dry textbook-style presentations put everyone to sleep.
Totally.
We crave that human connection.
We do.
That emotional spark.
We want to feel it.
And speaking of absorbing information,
Yeah.
this whole conversation has me thinking about the power of storytelling.
It's no coincidence
Right.
that storytelling is so powerful.
Yeah.
It taps directly into our capacity for emotional resonance, triggering a cascade of responses
Right.
in our brains and bodies.
The article we're diving into mentions that emotional resonance is at the heart of why we get so invested in fictional characters and worlds.
It's incredible.
Why do we laugh, cry, and even feel their triumphs and heartbreaks as our own?
Our brains are wired for empathy,
Yes.
thanks to those amazing mirror neurons we talked about.
Right.
But with stories, it goes even deeper.
Okay.
When we engage with a narrative, our brains create new neural pathways and connections.
Well, wait, hold up. Are you saying that reading a good book can actually rewire my brain?
It's true.
That's wild.
Every time you learn something new, experience something novel, or yes, even get lost in a good story, your brain is physically changing.
Wow.
Forging new connections between neurons.
So the more stories we consume, the more intricate our neural networks become.
Precisely.
That's amazing.
And these new pathways make us better able to process information, understand complex emotions, and connect with others on a deeper level.
So it's not just about entertainment.
No, it's not.
Stories are like mental workouts for our brains.
I love that.
I'm starting to see my Netflix queue in a whole new light.
Think of it as a way to exercise your empathy muscles.
Okay, I like it.
When you get lost in a story, you're stepping into someone else's shoes, experiencing the world through their eyes, and building your capacity for understanding different perspectives.
And the more we do that, the better equipped we are to navigate the complexities of our real-life relationships.
Absolutely.
It's all connected.
It really is.
And that brings us to another fascinating question.
Okay.
If this emotional resonance is happening all the time, even unconsciously, can we choose to feel it more or less? That's the million-dollar question.
That is the question.
Because if I could learn to, like, dial up the empathy and maybe dial down the negativity, that would be a game changer.
That would be incredible.
I would love to figure out how to do that.
Yeah. Welcome back to our deep dive into emotional resonance.
It really is like having a superpower.
Yeah.
But we just need to figure out how to use it effectively.
Absolutely.
And last time we ended on this big question. Can we control emotional resonance?
That's the question, isn't it?
Can we choose to feel more of it with certain people? Or maybe even dial it down when we're feeling overwhelmed?
That's what we all want to know.
Give us the cheat sheet.
All right, let's start with the good stuff.
Okay.
True connection. When you're experiencing genuine emotional resonance with someone, there's a sense of ease and flow in the conversation.
Yeah, it's like you're both speaking the same language.
Right.
Even if you're discussing different things.
Exactly.
You're totally in sync, vibing on the same frequency.
You might even find your body language syncing up. You're both leaning and making eye contact. Mirroring each other's gestures subconsciously.
It's like a safe space for authentic connection.
There's an openness, a willingness to be vulnerable without fear of judgment.
And you feel comfortable sharing your own thoughts and feelings?
Right.
Knowing that they'll be met with empathy and respect.
Precisely. Now let's talk about those red flags.
Okay.
Have you ever been in a conversation where you felt pressured to agree with someone?
Yeah.
Like your opinions didn't matter, or maybe they constantly interrupted you?
It's exhausting.
Or dismissed your feelings? Those are signs that something might be off.
It's like their need to be right or to control the conversation
Yeah.
overrides any chance of real connection.
And that's where manipulation can sneak in, disguised as emotional resonance.
So emotional resonance can be weaponized.
It can be.
That's kind of scary.
Which is why being aware of the signs and trusting your gut instinct is crucial.
Okay, so how do we protect ourselves from these emotional manipulators?
You're right to be cautious. The first line of defense is mindfulness.
So it's about tuning into those internal cues.
Yes.
How does my body feel? Are there any warning bells going off in my head?
Exactly.
What's my gut telling me about this person or situation?
And don't be afraid to set boundaries.
It's like setting those personal limits.
Right.
This is where my comfort zone ends, and I'm not going any further.
It's perfectly okay to politely disengage from a conversation or situation that's making you feel uncomfortable or pressured.
We often talk about physical boundaries.
Yeah.
But emotional boundaries are just as important.
I completely agree. Protecting your emotional well-being is crucial.
Yeah, it's essential for healthy relationships and overall well-being.
It's not selfish. It's essential. And remember, genuine emotional resonance is a two-way street.
It's not about one person dominating the conversation.
Right.
Or trying to force their feelings onto the other.
Built on mutual respect, understanding, and a genuine desire to connect on a deeper level.
It's about that shared experience of feeling seen, heard, and understood.
That's the heart of it. So we've talked about recognizing genuine connection and shielding ourselves from manipulation, but now let's get practical.
Okay, give us the actionable steps to level up our connection game.
How can we use this knowledge to strengthen our relationships?
What can we do to create more of those feel-good, resonant experiences?
And live a more fulfilling life. After all, that's what we're all striving for, right?
With the people who matter most.
It's all about making small but consistent shifts in how we interact.
Okay.
First and foremost, be present.
It's amazing how much that simple act of being present.
Put down the phone, silence those notifications, and truly focus on the person in front of you.
Can shift the energy of an interaction.
It creates that space for deeper connection to emerge organically.
It's like you're saying to the other person you matter, you have my undivided attention.
Next practice, active listening.
Active listening is so much more than waiting for your turn to speak.
This means going beyond just hearing the words someone is saying.
It's about trying to see the world through their eyes.
Really tune into their emotional tone, their body language,
Right.
the unspoken messages they're conveying.
Even if you don't fully agree with their point of view.
And don't hesitate to ask clarifying questions.
Right.
To reflect back what you're hearing and to acknowledge their feelings even if you don't fully understand them.
It's about making the other person feel truly seen and heard.
Exactly. And remember, empathy isn't about fixing someone's problems or offering unsolicited advice.
There's so much power in that simple phrase. I'm here for you.
Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply listen with an open heart. Yeah.
And offer your presence.
It can be so much more impactful than trying to jump in with solutions.
It's about allowing them to feel their emotions fully.
Right.
Knowing that they have a safe and supportive space to do so. And finally, don't underestimate the power of vulnerability.
It's like saying, hey, I'm not perfect, but I'm real.
Sharing your own thoughts and feelings, even the messy ones, can invite deeper connection.
And I trust you enough to let you see this side of me.
Exactly. And when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we give others permission to do the same.
It creates this beautiful sense of shared humanity.
Strengthening that bond of trust and mutual understanding. So we've explored the science, learned to spot red flags, and discovered ways to enhance our relationships.
Right.
But there's one more layer to uncover.
Okay.
How do we actively cultivate this superpower?
I love that you call it a superpower.
It's one thing to grasp how emotional resonance works.
And I'm ready to level up.
But how can we truly become more empathetic and attuned to others' emotional states? So what are the secrets to becoming an emotional resonance ninja?
That's where the real magic happens.
We're back for the final part of our emotional resonance deep dive. This has been really eye-opening.
It really is incredible how much is going on beneath the surface, you know?
I never realized there was so much to it.
We've explored the brain science, the good and bad sides of emotional resonance, and how it shapes our relationships.
Yeah.
But as we wrap up,
Yeah.
let's shift our focus to the most important question.
Okay.
How do we actually cultivate this superpower?
Give us the keys to the ignition.
Because knowledge without application is like a car without an engine.
What are some practical steps we can take to become more empathetic?
It won't get you very far.
More attuned to others and ultimately more resonant human beings.
That's the spirit, and the great thing is,
I'm ready to level up my emotional intelligence.
Developing emotional intelligence is an ongoing process.
So it's not like I can just download an empathy app.
It's about continuous growth and practice.
And suddenly become a Zen master of emotional awareness.
Unfortunately, it's a bit more nuanced than that.
Okay.
But there are some incredibly effective strategies you can start incorporating into your life today.
Okay, like what?
The first one might surprise you.
Okay.
It's all about expanding your emotional vocabulary.
Expanding my emotional vocabulary?
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about feelings, not grammar lessons.
Most of us tend to use a pretty limited range of words to describe our emotions.
Right.
We're happy, sad, angry, stressed. That's about it.
Yeah.
But by expanding your emotional vocabulary,
okay,
you become more aware of the nuances of your own emotional landscape, which is the foundation for understanding the emotions of others.
So instead of just saying I'm feeling stressed, I might say I'm feeling overwhelmed, anxious, and a bit resentful that I have so much on my plate.
Right.
Being more specific helps me pinpoint exactly what's going on internally.
By being more precise, you're not only communicating more effectively with others, but you're also deepening your own self-awareness.
Yeah.
And that's crucial because you can't truly empathize with someone else's emotions.
Right.
If you're not in touch with your own.
It's like learning a new language. The language of emotions.
That's a great analogy.
The more words you know, the more fluently you can express yourself and understand others.
And just like learning any new language, it takes practice.
Okay.
Start paying attention to the subtle shifts in your emotional state throughout the day.
Okay.
Notice the physical sensations that accompany different emotions. That tightness in your chest when you're anxious.
Right.
The warmth in your heart when you feel loved. The knot in your stomach when you're nervous.
It's about becoming a detective of my own inner world.
Precisely.
Paying attention to those subtle cues.
And as you become more attuned to your own emotional landscape, you'll start to notice those same cues in others.
Okay.
Their facial expressions, their tone of voice, their body language, it all tells a story.
So the more we understand our own emotions, the better equipped we are to read and understand the emotions of those around us.
You got it.
It's like we're developing our emotional radar.
Now let's talk about those times when you're just not feeling it.
Okay.
We all have those days where we're running low on emotional bandwidth.
Yeah, for sure.
What if someone comes to you with their problems and you're just not in the headspace to be supportive?
I've been there.
What's the best approach in those situations?
My empathy tank is running on fumes and I just want to crawl under a blanket and hide from the world.
Honesty and self-compassion are key.
Okay.
It's perfectly okay to say, listen, I'm really struggling right now.
Right.
And I'm not sure I can be the best listener for you at this moment.
Yeah.
Can we talk later when I'm in a better headspace?
That feels so much better than trying to force empathy when I'm just not feeling it.
Exactly.
It's like trying to squeeze water from a dry sponge.
Yeah.
Nothing good comes out.
Remember, setting boundaries is a form of self-care.
Yeah.
And it allows you to show up more authentically and empathetically when you are able to.
It's about preserving my energy so I can be fully present and supportive.
Now, apart from expanding your emotional vocabulary and practicing self-awareness, there are other fun ways to boost your empathy muscles.
Like what?
Have you ever noticed how getting lost in a good book or movie can make you feel deeply connected to the characters, even though they're fictional?
I can laugh, cry, and cheer for those characters as if they were real people.
That's because your brain doesn't fully distinguish between fictional and real experiences.
Wow.
Especially when you're emotionally invested. So indulging in those activities can actually strengthen your empathy circuits.
So I can justify my Netflix binges as a form of personal growth.
Think of it as a workout for your empathy muscles.
I like it.
When you immerse yourself in a story, you're essentially stepping into someone else's shoes, experiencing the world through their eyes, and this helps you become more comfortable navigating different perspectives in real life.
It's like virtual reality for empathy training.
Exactly. It's all about finding those enjoyable and sustainable ways to nurture your emotional intelligence.
Okay.
And finally, one of the simplest yet most effective ways to cultivate empathy is through genuine curiosity.
Curiosity. The secret ingredient to unlocking deeper connection.
It's more powerful than you might think.
Tell me more.
When you approach someone with a genuine desire to understand their experiences and perspectives, you're creating a space for connection to flourish.
Okay.
Ask open-ended questions, listen attentively, and resist the urge to jump in with judgments or solutions.
It's about approaching each interaction as an opportunity to learn and grow, to expand our understanding of the human experience.
Beautifully said. This has been an incredible exploration of emotional resonance.
I think so, too.
I hope our listeners feel inspired to start incorporating these strategies into their own lives.
Me too. It's amazing how much we can learn about ourselves and others simply by paying attention to the subtle dance of emotions that's happening all around us.
So to wrap things up, what's one final thought you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Pay attention to how you feel when you connect with different forms of art. Whether it's a powerful film, a captivating novel, or even a thought-provoking podcast like this one.
Notice how your brain and body react. That's emotional resonance at work.
Okay.
Embrace it, explore it, and use it as a guiding force to create a more connected and meaningful life.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into emotional resonance.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time for another fascinating exploration of the human experience.